our top stories this evening, sponsored by Corps, bringing value home. Integrity and the trustworthiness will be restored in Guyana under an APNU-led government. Norton condemns corruption in police force. One Guyana, built on 5 years of sustained development. Prime Minister Phillips. Salary hikes, utility subsidies among FERNANDES' key election proposals, and BETERVERWAGTING's main access road to become 4-lane highway. HGP Nightly News begins now. Good evening to our viewers here in Guyana and online. I'm ALETHEA Grant with the Tuesday, 22nd July 2025 edition of the HGP Nightly News. This is what you should know this evening. Antonio Day reports that Aubrey Norton, the presidential candidate for a Partnership for National Unity, assured supporters in Melanie that if elected to office after the September 1 polls, he will restore integrity and free Guyana from corruption.
Aubrey Norton, presidential candidate of the Partnership for National Unity, while addressing supporters in Melanie on the east coast of Demerara over the weekend, said a direct approach will be taken to reclaim the country from corrupt hands. The APNU's presidential candidate was addressing thousands gathered in Melanie over the weekend as the party took its political campaign to the east coast of Demerara.
Saying to you, we will govern with integrity. We will govern with honesty.
The aspiring president, in his appeal to residents of Melanie, said Guyana will return to a state of prosperity and unity under an APNU coalition government. Mr. Norton said Guyana remains a divided nation due to the discriminatory practices.
A lot of the disunity occurs because this government allocates the resources of this country in a discriminatory way. They have different strokes for different folks.
Diverting his attention to the Guyana Police Force and the Guyana Defense Force, Norton said, while the men and women in uniform continue to serve the country, the governing People's Progressive Party Civic Administration has failed to put systems in place for retired servicemen and women.
I said to you in the Army, I said to you in the Guyana Police Force, an APNU government will ensure that while you serve as policemen and soldiers, you will be trained in other skills so after service you can be of use to this country.
Mr. Norton highlighted the politicization of the Guyana Police Force under the ruling People's Progressive Party Civic regime. The APNU presidential candidate, who is also a lecturer of political science, argued that at no point will his government interfere in the affairs of the law enforcement agency. He said there will be drastic changes under an APNU-led government.
The law must protect the people who operate based on law. We have to end this situation in which the Guyana Police Force has become a tool of the PPP and the elite. And do you believe so many of them in the PPP believe they could rape?
I'm Antonio Day reporting for the HGP Nightly News.
The One Guyana message took center stage on Sunday in Region 6 as Prime Minister Phillips and other prominent figures credited the People's Progressive Party Civic Government with delivering 5 years of sustained growth and inclusive development. Find out more from Tiana Cole.
Prime Minister Brigadier retired Phillips, in addressing party supporters who assembled at Albion Region 6, said citizens across the country have benefited from what he described as 5 years of solid and sustained development under the leadership of President Irfan Ali.
We have achieved one Guyana, and we need to build on it. Shared prosperity to all the people of Guyana. We have went into every community with our people-centered approach. You had 5 years of solid, sustained development under the visionary leadership of our President, Dr. Mohamed Irfan Ali.
Phillips further emphasized that the PPPC is a results-driven party that consistently delivers on its promises and maintains a people-first approach to governance. Speaking at the same event, former president of the Ghana Teachers Union, Dr. Mark Light, praised the current government's education policies. He said Guyana's education sector is thriving under the PPPC and has embraced equity and diversity like never before.
This progress is something that we need to build on. And the PPPC is saying, forward together for a better Guyana.
Former APNU AFC parliamentarian Gita Chandan Edmond also addressed the gathering, declared that the development taking place under the current administration is real and tangible, not just political rhetoric.
We are witnessing development that is touching every single door, every single household, and every family. The transformation is not a promise. Like the others would promise you, the transformation is a reality.
Tiana Ko reporting for the HGP United News.
With just weeks to go before Guyanese head to the polls, Juretta Fernandes is making her economic vision a central pillar of the A Partnership for National Unity's campaign, one focused on the tax breaks, higher wages, and rooting out corruption. Tiana Cole again reports.
With September 1 fast approaching and Guyanese preparing to elect a new president, a Partnership for National Unity APNU's prime ministerial candidate, Juretta Fernandes, used a recent appearance on Context to outline her party's economic blueprint. At the heart of her proposal is a 35% salary increase for government workers and a series of tax reforms, including raising the income tax threshold to $400,000.
We have looked at the amount of money that is needed. I believe that we have spelled it out to show the affordability and the sustainability.
Fernandes said reforms would free up over $300 billion annually, funding salary increases, pension boost, utility subsidies, and expanded support for housing and education.
We know the cost of electricity will be able to go down tremendously, and hence our proposal that not to pay electricity unless it's over $10,000. It's major, but it's not just about the cost, Enrico, if I dare say. It's about the reliability.
She also pointed to corruption in procurement and unfair contract distribution as major roadblocks to development, arguing that systemic reform is necessary to ensure national wealth benefit all citizens.
The vast majority of them, I dare say, do not have the actual equipment to go out and to execute these contracts. They have to now go and subcontract the work to larger companies that have the equipment, that have the capacity to actually do the work. And when they are done, between paying for the contract and subcontracting the work, these small contractors are left with barely enough for them to survive.
In addition to her salary and tax plan, Fernandes is proposing a rent-to-own housing initiative, expanded student assistance, and greater support for pensioners. She also said these measures are not just promises, but long overdue investments in the people of Guyana. Tiana Cole reporting for the HGP Nightly News.
Thanks, Tiana. Join us after the break. We have more news for you. Welcome back. You with the HGP Nightly News. Thanks for staying with us. In the news from our neck of the woods, major road upgrades are planned for some 2.4 kilometers of the BETERVERWAGTING main access road into a 4-lane access highway. Tiana Cole has that story.
Very soon, residents living in BETERVERWAGTING along the East Coast Corridor will soon enjoy easier travel when works are completed on the community's main access road. The project will see the expansion on both sides of the carriageway by 22 feet, creating a 4-lane thoroughfare. Additionally, Concrete drains will be installed on both sides of the 2.4-kilometer stretch of road, starting from the BV Public Road. Minister of Public Works Juan Edged on Tuesday during a site visit shared details of the upcoming works. He explained that the primary challenge is ensuring that the project is completed with minimal disruption to essential services like water and electricity for residents.
We have to manage that to ensure we're getting the work done and at the same time minimum interruptions to people's lives and livelihood. So that balancing act is the only challenge that we're having.
Kester Ines, project engineer at the Ministry of Public Works, said the expansion will also allow for safer parking and pedestrian access.
We are upgrading the road to incorporate sidewalk. We are also building concrete drains which will allow for a more efficient drainage, discharge of water, storm water, and as well as residential waste water.
Design engineer Keely Young noted that the northern section of the railway embankment will be upgraded to 2 standard lanes with a walkway.
To the southern half of the railway embankment, we'll also be upgrading to 2 standard lanes and with 2-meter wide trails on both sides.
Commencement letters were signed last week between the government and international imports. The contract is valued at in excess of $1 billion and is expected to be completed in 10 months. Tianco reporting for the HGP Nightly News.
Attorney and a Partnership for National Unity candidate Ronald Daniels says despite Guyana being dubbed the fastest growing economy in the world due to its oil exploits, citizens still struggle to make ends meet. Antonia Day reports.
We are still in the great struggles. We must turn our energies in these circumstances, and we must prevail in these conditions.
Attorney at law and a Partnership for National Unity candidate Ronald Daniels delivering remarks at a rally held over the weekend in Melanie, East Costa, Marara. The APNU candidate contended that despite Guyana's nascent oil and gas industry, as well as thriving economy, many citizens continue to face the harsh realities of the high living costs. He contends that public servants are struggling to make ends meet.
From the time you get your salary or your wage, it's done. Even before you get it, it's done.
The attorney-at-law established that the powers that be has failed to considerably address these plights, although resources are available in the country's sovereign wealth fund. He noted that the government's promulgation of One Guyana slogan is not being experienced by all citizens.
And this is in an oil-rich economy under a government that is telling you that it is one Guyana, and you're not experiencing that one Guyana that they are experiencing.
The attorney-at-law also referenced the escalating crime situation locally and reasoned that the situation was more controlled under the previous administration.
Somebody just casually walked into their village a few days ago and gunned down one of the hard-working residents of Mocha. We are not living in safe communities. These foolishness weren't happening under the previous APNU government.
Antonia Day reporting for the HGP Nightly News.
Stay tuned. We have more news for you after this break. Thanks for staying with us. The more than $560 million Brickdam Secondary School was commissioned on Monday. The newly built facility will cater to 485 students and 51 teachers when the new academic school year commences in September. Antonia Day has been following that story.
The Brickdam Secondary School was officially opened on Monday, marking a major milestone in the school's history. Minister of Education Priya Manichan said that the building has the potential of unlocking the creativity of the nation's future generation through innovative mechanisms of learning.
It's not just the building. It's the rooms where we will create Guyana's next leaders. It's the edifice where we will see imagination and innovation and change coming out of.
Meanwhile, President Irfan Ali in his feature address said that the edifice is testament to his government's commitment towards delivering quality education.
It is a defining moment of our educational system. We are not just building schools, we are creating opportunities, entrenching equity, and fostering greater quality.
The modern facility, constructed at $560.7 million, boasts 22 classrooms, 3 staff rooms, a counseling room, a sick bay, 3 home economics rooms, 2 science laboratories, an IT lab, an industrial technology room, an auditorium, and a canteen. Antonio Day reporting for the HGP Nightly News.
Thanks, Antonio. Stay tuned for regional news.
Good evening and welcome to Tuesday's edition of the Regional News. We begin with news in Trinidad and Tobago. Former Prime Minister Dr. Keith Rowley is claiming that his name has been placed on an Interpol watch list and is now demanding answers from both Prime Minister Kamla Bessad and Commissioner of Police ALETHEA about what alleged crime triggering the listing. Rowley suspects a malicious effort is underway by government agencies to damage his reputation and wants them to remove his name from the list. However, COP Guevara says checks with Interpol have revealed no alerts, flags, or warrants linked to Dr. Rowley in their system. And Prime Minister Bessad is now calling on Rowley to apologize to the nation. Speaking at a media briefing at his Goodwood Park home yesterday, Rowley said the first red flag came during his travel to Antigua and Barbuda en route to Montserrat on July 13. He said he presented his diplomatic passport to officials at the BC Baird International Airport. Over to news in Brazil. Brazil's Supreme Court said on Monday former President Jair Bolsonaro may be arrested if his press interviews are published on social media, raising questions about whether the right-wing leader is allowed to talk to journalists as he faces backlash over the 50% tariffs U.S. President Donald Trump imposed on Brazil. In a court ruling issued on Monday, Brazilian Justice Alexandre de Moraes, who oversees a criminal case in which Bolsonaro is accused of plotting a coup, said that any attempt to circumvent the ruling would result in a former president's arrest. On Friday, Moraes has ordered Bolsonaro to wear an ankle bracelet and ban him from using social media, among other measures, over allegations he courted the interference of Trump, who tied the new levies on Brazil to what he called a witch hunt against Bolsonaro. In a Reuters interview, Bolsonaro criticized Moraes' social media ban as cowardice and vowed to keep engaging with the press. However, a ruling clarified that the ban also applies to the use of social media through third parties. Bolsonaro canceled a scheduled interview with a local news outlet meant for YouTube, as the judge prohibited the broadcasting or sharing of interviews on the third-party platforms. It remains unclear if this ban extends to all interviews. And I quote, "The prohibition is that he communicates on social media. It is not a prohibition against third parties speaking about him, whether to praise or criticize," said Ivar Hartman, a law professor at Sao Paulo Business School, INSPA. He added that in his view, interviews are permissible provided that they are not intended to circumvent the legal limitations, such as giving an interview to a supporter. But Vera Shemin, a Sao Paulo-based constitutional lawyer, said she believed the former leader is now on shaky ground, noting that interviews, while not explicitly mentioned in the court order, could still be used to justify Bolsonaro's arrest. And we end with some sad news. Actor and director Malcolm Jamal Warner, best known for his role on The Cosby Show, has died in an accidental drowning in Costa Rica, where he was vacationing with his family, officials there said. He was 54. Warner drowned Sunday afternoon at a beach in Cocles de Limon in Costa Rica's Caribbean coast, the country's Judicial Investigation Department said. He appeared to be pulled out to sea by a current. Warner was assisted by people who were at the beach, but he was declared dead by the staff of the Costa Rican Red Cross, the department said. In a statement on Monday, the Costa Rican Red Cross said it was alerted to a water accident on Sunday at 2:10 p.m. local time, and it dispatched 3 ambulances. 2 men were treated on site. 1 was critically transferred to a local clinic, while the other was declared dead after unsuccessful resuscitation attempts. No updates were provided on the hospitalized man. Thank you for watching. I'm Antonio Day. Goodbye for now.
Integrity and trustworthiness will be restored in Guyana under an APNU-led government. Norton condemns corruption in a police force. One Guyana built on 5 years of sustained development. PM Phillips. Salary hikes, utility subsidies among FERNANDES' key election proposals, and BETERVERWAGTING main access road to become 4-lane highway. Those are our major headlines. For these stories and more, please go to our website. It's www.hgptv.com. I'm ALETHEA Grant. Thanks for watching.